and the biggest thing that you can do to prepare for law school. Hi everyone, it's Milan, and welcome to The Perfect Balance, where I help law students find the perfect balance between a successful law school career and a thriving personal life. Let's get into it. I get asked about my law school experience all the time, from how did you get in, how did you prepare for law school, how are you successful in law school, how did you maintain your sanity in law school. So I decided to just answer all of those questions here and drop this mini series called The Perfect Balance, where I touch on the tips, tricks, advice, and strategies that I use to be successful in law school. So if any of that sounds interesting, stay tuned. In this first video, I wanted to talk about all of the things that I wish I knew before starting law school. Like many of you, I'm a first generation law student, now lawyer. I'm a first generation lawyer. And I didn't have a blueprint or anyone in my immediate family that I could go to figure out what law school was going to be like. So I wanted to make this video to tell you the things I wish I knew, so hopefully you can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. So the first thing that I wish I knew before I started law school was, how do you prepare for law school? The summer before law school, you're probably anxious and nervous and have no idea what you're about to walk into. There are a ton of courses and books that you can read that are supposedly going to prepare you for law school, but the reality of it is, the biggest thing you can do to prepare for law school is relax. Law school is going to be 3 of the most difficult years of your life. So take that time and chill. Like, I wish I would have chilled. Now, if you are going to start law school, I'm sure you're type A and you're not going to sit there and relax. So if you have to do something, my advice is to focus on practical skills over memorizing the law. Learn what IRAC is. You're going to use it a lot in law school. Learn how to brief a case. Focus on time management, organization, things like that will really benefit you as a law student. And if you have to do something, the most valuable thing you can do to prepare for law school is read and write. Writing is going to distinguish good law students from great law students. If you want to be a great law student, perfect your writing skills. The second thing I wish I knew before I started law school was how grades work and how exams are formatted. For most law schools, you will have one exam at the end of each semester that determines your entire grade. Yeah, you heard me right.
One exam determines your entire grade.
That exam will generally be between 3 and 5 hours, and you'll be given a hypothetical set of facts that you have to issue spot, analyze, and write as much as you can. So that 15, 20 pages of writing that you're able to complete in those hours is all that will determine your grade. So all of your work for the semester, that one exam. That's nerve-wracking, right? Like that's scary as hell. So if one exam that decided your entire grade wasn't enough, those exams are graded on a curve. At least from my experience, and a lot of law schools are set up like this, there are only so many A's a professor can give in a course. So many B's, so forth and so on. So the exams are on a curve where most people have to fall in the middle. A few will get A's. That means that your exam grade is going to be based on what everyone else wrote. And whether or not you fall in the middle of the pack, meaning you had an average exam that was similar to your other classmates, or you had an exceptional one. Law school is all about being exceptional. The third thing that I wish I would have known before starting law school is that there is a difference between preparing for a class and preparing for the exam. A lot of law school professors like to use what's called the Socratic method. The Socratic method means that professors will cold call students and ask them to answer all of the questions about the reading you have for that day. Because the Socratic method is used, some students are just better in that environment. And class is often based off of the minutia and small details in the case. On the other hand, your exam is going to be based off of your general knowledge of the law and how you can apply it to a new set of facts. So class, minutia, small details, not being nervous on the spot. Exam, knowing and understanding the law and applying it to a new set of facts. Those are different. And like I said, your grade is based on the exam. So having a good day in class does not mean that you're going to do well on the exam. I remember when I was a 1L, I had one professor that was known to be super tough, and I was on call. Somehow, magically, I had all the answers to his questions in my notes. Like, I was on it. I felt good. Like, I felt great. And I went to tell my mentor about how I had a good day in class, and she was like, that's great, but are you prepared for the exam? First, I was like, let me have my moment. Like, let me find some joy in law school, right? But the reason that she said that was because you can have a great day in class and still fail the course. You can talk a lot in class and still fail the exam. So remember that class skills are different than exam skills, and your grade is based off the exam. The next thing I wish I knew before starting law school was how to take notes. The biggest thing you'll hear about are case briefs and outlines. So a case brief is just how you organize your notes for a particular case. I mentioned earlier that you should learn how to brief a case. This is one of the most important skills that you're gonna learn as you're going through your first year of law school. Briefing a case is just your version of taking notes for the cases that you're reading. What I like to do is organize my case briefs into 7 points. Number 1, the facts of the case. Number 2, the procedure history. That just means where it is in the court process. Number 3, the issue in the case. What was the main issue that was discussed in the case? Number 4, the rule. This is the black letter law, what you really need to get from the case. Like, what was the rule in this case? Number 5 is the holding of the case. That is how the case was decided. Number 6 is the reasoning. That's the reason why the court decided in that way. Number 7 was any dissents. Dissents are going to be extremely helpful, especially with Supreme Court cases. And I would just use that template and fill in the blanks for each case that I read. Obviously, your case briefs will look different for different classes, and yours will look different than all of your classmates. It's all about finding what works for you. Another thing that I made sure I did was after class, I would go back and update my case briefs. With it being your first time in law school, you're gonna make some mistakes. Your case briefs will not be perfect. So it's important that you make sure that you update those briefs after you learn a little bit more, you listen to your professor, you go to office hours. Make sure you are constantly updating those briefs so that they are accurate and will prepare you for the exam. That brings me to outlines. So you'll hear a lot about outlines in law school, and my advice is make your own outline and do not rely on anyone else's. So an outline is simply all of your notes for the semester that help you prepare for the exam. You organize your outline in a way that works best for you. So using someone else's outline, it's gonna be organized in a way that works best for them. It's like picking someone else's brain. You may find good information in it, but it's not tailored to you. And also, there's human error. They may have mistakes in their outline. And that's why I wouldn't rely on someone else's. If you wanna use it as a point of reference on how to organize your own outline, that's one thing, but don't rely on other people's outline. The next thing that I wish I knew before starting law school was how to stay organized and manage my time. If you would have asked me before I started law school if I was organized and knew how to manage time, I would have said, hell yeah, like I know what I'm doing. Like I got this. I did not know what I was doing. The reason that managing your time is different in law school is because you have so little time. So in law school, you'll typically have 4 to 5 hours of class time every day of the week. And then the rest of that time is going to be spent preparing for class and for the exam. So it's hard to organize that and make sure that you're being efficient, making sure that you're spending enough time preparing for the class and preparing for the exam. And the biggest thing is making sure that you are still taking time for yourself. Burnout is real. Like, I want to take this time just to acknowledge that law school is hard. Like, it is harder than you think it is going to be. And that's why you see so many people go to substances and just really bad and unhealthy habits. And I refuse to let that be me. Like, it wasn't going to be me. So I made sure that I still set aside time to take care of myself. It means I still ate healthy meals. I still worked out. I still made time to talk to my family and friends. Whatever it is that makes you feel like a human being and not some law school zombie, make sure you do that. The hard part is you now have to schedule that time. I had to schedule when I was going to work out. I couldn't just like up on a limb decide because so much of my time was dedicated to law school. I would spend about 10 to 12 hours every weekday dedicated to law school. So it's hard with that schedule to find time for yourself, but you have to make it a priority because you don't want to burn out. You don't want to not make it to the end of the semester. So those are the things that I wish I knew before I started law school. If I forgot anything, or if any of this was particularly helpful, or you have questions, comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.